Hey, my name is Ed Marszewski or Ed Marszewski, depending on how Polish you're feeling today. I am a co-founder of Marz Community Brewing. You could say that I'm a Generation Xer. Marz comes from Marszewski. Normally it's spelled M-A-R-S-Z-E-W-S-K-I. We realized no one would be able to pronounce Marszewski. No one would be able to spell it if it was M-A-R-S-Z. So I just took out the S and put Z there, and we went with it.
Ed, where you from?
I grew up on the south side of Chicago, in Beverly and near Evergreen Park. I really love our city of Chicago. Growing up there was weird. Craft beer has become really saturated. The craft brewing industry has over 10,000 breweries now, and it's not growing anymore. Marz not only makes beer, we make tea beverages. We've actually made coffee, we've made kombucha. We also are involved in the growing hemp-derived beverage movement.
Hey Ed, what was the inspo for Marz?
My mother bought this little dive bar in the middle of Bridgeport and created a really beautiful, wonderful haven for people to visit in the middle of this conservative bastion of lily white Chicago. That's in the late 80s. Bridgeport has been a neighborhood on the change for decades now. You know, decades ago was definitely a place that had some problems, many problems in fact. And over the past few decades, it's become one of the most ethnically diverse neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. And we were really happy that we're able to add a light manufacturing facility to a neighborhood that was known for manufacturing, but of course over time has lost it. In the mid-2000s, I was able to purchase an abandoned building in Bridgeport that was down the block from my mother's bar. And that became a new art center for us in which we were able to build one of the largest independent art galleries in the city of Chicago. And because it became my base, I started working more at my mother's bar, which was then called Kaplan's. But in 2010, my brother and I renamed it Maria's after my mother. Maria, of course, is known as the Duchess of Bridgeport. We actually make a beer in her name to commemorate her being a queen of the neighborhood. Well, I blame my mother for almost all the things that we've done. Without Maria, we never would have taken over her bar. Without doing that, we never would have been able to just buy all the beer on earth and try it all and get excited and inspired by what beer is or what it could be. I think Maria's probably pleased, but she's an old Korean lady who's not impressed with anything.
How'd you go from owning a bar to starting a brewery?
2010, 2011 is when we started serving amazing craft beer and craft cocktails at the bar. We basically ordered every single beer you could possibly order from distributors in Chicago and served them in our bar. And that caused a lot of people to come by, including a bunch of homebrewers. And one day, these guys came into the bar and they were showing us their beer they were making. And I knew them from a past life. They were rave producers from the turn of the century as well, from the early 2000s. And I'm like, what are you guys doing making beer? And we went to their spot in Bucktown, and when we got there, we were expecting all these big tanks, this brewing facility, but it was like, no, it was 3 giant wok burners with giant pots. And we were like, this is legal? You could make beer on this and sell it to people? And they were like, yes, and we are. After that encounter, we all went back to Bridgeport and we're sitting around at the bar going, man, if those morons could figure out how to start a brewery, why don't we try to start a brewery? We started bottling our beer. We would hand fill each bottle. We went door to door and started selling our beer ourselves. We started looking for other facilities in Bridgeport and the surrounding neighborhood. And we wound up in the current location, 3630 South Iron Street. We got the space in 2016. We managed to move into it in 2017. And then the tap room opened in 2018.
Ed, tell us about the building.
Is this a marijuana growing facility? And he's like, I can't deny or admit that. So it turns out that this building was used to grow marijuana illegally in the early part of the 2000s. The basement was an illegal rave space. And I looked at the guy at the end of the tour and I said, I'll take it. If you come to the brewery, you'll notice that the floor has been cut open, so it allows you to see the brewery. That was done because we had to make sure the tanks had enough headroom to fit in the space. It's because we understand the struggle it is to create a business. We understand the pitfalls and the problems. We actively help others incubate their businesses through our projects. A lot of different budding chefs do pop-ups at Marz. The current team that's there was a pop-up that we allowed to run our kitchen. We've also incubated many different breweries. We help them get their start brewing their beer or letting them brew with us through our license. Because of our history of doing festivals and events over time, it is very natural for us to make sure that we have a lot of fun festivals and events at the brewery. We have an annual burger competition called Burger Time. We do a thing called the Dumpling Battle, where different chefs come in and make different forms of dumplings. We have our Lunar New Year party with lion dancers. Another favorite event we do is called Punchki Fest. Punchki is a Polish donut that's served between Fat Thursday and Fat Tuesday every year. We do a donut-inspired beer. We have special food menus. We really love having a marching band march around throughout our tap room during our events.
I went to Marz Brewery for Taco Tuesday, and I was just amazed at the decor. I love the design of Marz, the red oriental lamps, and then they kind of have in the corner like a little disco corner. It's just a space when you walk into, you just feel really inspired. It's creative, it's an art gallery, they have an arcade. It's just really cool, and this like feeling of nostalgia when you walk inside. And I won Lotteria when I was there.
We're excited that we're able to provide a little oasis in the middle of nowhere in this industrial park. We're also delighted that we're a part of a larger community here in the South Side that believes the South Side has a lot to offer to the city of Chicago and the rest of the planet. All right, so we're pulling up to this weird street that's dirty and looking.